Hey guys, what's going on? Counter Spell Hater here, back with another EDH guide. We're going a bit further back or forward, I don't really know anymore. With the Ghoul Caller Gisa, for 2 generic and double black, she is a legendary human wizard. And for black, you can tap her and sacrifice another creature to put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. Access the sacrifice creature's power, 3/4. So we're gonna have like cards that, so like creatures that are meant to be sacrificed in our deck, or like creatures or like cards in general that can just like bring back stuff from like maybe our opponent's side onto our battlefield. That way we can sacrifice those creatures, keep reanimating them. And then we've got like cards for value and stuff. You know the deal. Anyways, let's get into it with Demon of Dark Schemes. For 3 generic and triple black, it's a demon with flying. 5/5, when enters battlefield, all other creatures get -2 until end turn. So your zombies will unfortunately die. However, whenever another creature dies, you get an energy counter. And then for 2 generic and black, you may pay 4 energy counters and put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped. So you losing your zombies could actually be very well worth it, along with possibly other creatures. And this can get rid of like tokens or like bears and like bears as in 2 mana 2/2s on your opponent's boards. Very good card for this deck. And it's a 5/5 if you want to sacrifice it. Reviver Demon for 4 generic and quadruple black. It's a demon 6/6 that when enters battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, you destroy all non-artifact, non-black creatures that can be regenerated. So this is completely a one-sided board wipe, not one-sided board wipe. Because we are only playing mono black in this deck. And then it's done its job, so probably just sacrifice this for 6 2/2s. Kind of meant to be sacrificed. Urgul, Glun of Urborg for 4 generic and a black. It's just a legendary frog spirit 9/3, so you'll get a decent amount of 2/2s out of this. Greyspawn Sovereign. Relatively, well, not new card, actually a reprint. I probably should have included this in my Will Help Commander Guide, which go check that out. Currently the most viewed, but go check out the other videos. They should get some love and support too. Anyways, back to the video. So Greyspawn Sovereign. For 4 generic and double black, it's a zombie that you can tap 5 untapped zombies you control to put target creature card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. 3/3. This card goes way back, like kind of original borders, if you know what I mean. No, not white borders. Anyways, so and since we're creating a lot of zombies, this goes nicely with this commander. So you can reanimate kind of over and over, sacrifice a bunch. Pretty good. Ghastly Remains for 3 generic. I mean, not for 3 generic, for triple black, just triple black. It's a zombie with Amplify. As this card comes into play, put a puzzle counter on it for each zombie card you reveal in your hand. I think I have enough zombies in this deck for it to be worth it. If I don't, then there's something to make up for it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if it is in your graveyard, you may pay 3 black, well, triple black, I should say. If you do, you return Ghastly Remains to your hand. It's 0/0. So fill your deck with zombies if you're playing with this. On one side, on this double-sided card, we have Elbrus the Binding Blade. Excuse me. For 7 generic, it's a legendary artifact equipment. Your creature gets +1/+0, so a little more power. So when you sacrifice it, gives you that 1 more 2/2. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, however, you unattach this artifact from that creature and then transform it. So it also could cost a 1. And then on the other side, we have Withengar, Unbound. It's a legendary demon with flying, intimidate, trample, meaning that it can only be blocked by a creature that shares a color with it or an artifact creature. 13/13. And whenever a player loses the game, put 13 +1/+1 counters on Withengar Unbound. So if you're in a 4-way and someone suddenly loses the game and you have this out, suddenly Withengar goes from a 13/13 with flying, intimidate, trample, which still pretty hard to block, to an even harder to block 26/26 flying, intimidate, trampling creature that you can sacrifice to put 52 power and toughness, additional power and toughness onto your board thanks to Gisa within 1 turn. And then say another player loses the game. Well, you get the idea. That is a 39/39. And at that point, the remaining player is screwed. Well, your remaining opponent. Mortivore, moving on to generic and double black for a Lurg Life. I have no idea. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. Then for a black, you can regenerate it, meaning the next time this would be destroyed, you remove it from combat and remove all damage from it. So pretty nice. Scourge of Neltor, pretty nice card for 5 generic and double black. It's a zombie dragon with flying 6/6, and you may cast it from your graveyard by paying double black and sacrificing 2 other creatures rather than paying its mana cost. So this can be sacrificed over and over again. And you have plenty of zombies to keep paying that cost. And as long as you have the double black to do it as well, then you can reanimate it and keep sacrificing it for 6 more zombies. Grave Betrayal for 5 generic and double black. It's an enchantment that states whenever a creature you don't control dies, return it to the battlefield under your control with an additional +1/+1 counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. So this could be pretty bad for your opponents because you could get something like a Crater Hoof Behemoth, and suddenly all of your stuff is way stronger. So that could lead to you swinging out and just winning right there. Or if you're not in a position to swing, your creatures probably are considerably more powerful because you probably have at least a good zombie army. So then, thanks to that, you can sacrifice one of them with Gisa, and then you probably have a lot more. Bloodthrone Vampire, 1 generic and a black for a vampire 1/1 that you can sacrifice a creature to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. So sacrifice a bunch of zombies to this, and then sacrifice this to create that many zombies. However much its power would be. I kind of lost it. Rise of the Dark Realms, very scary card, especially in Commander. 7 generic and double black. It's a sorcery that puts all creature cards, from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Don't think I need to say much. Demon of Death's Gate for 6 generic and triple black. It's a demon 9/9. However, you may pay 6 life and sacrifice 3 black creatures rather than pay its mana cost, and then you get all that, and it's also got flying and trample. So you could get this out pretty early, which is terrifying. And if that doesn't suit your fancy, here's Lord of the Void for you. For 4 generic and triple black, it's a demon with flying 7/7. And when it deals combat damage to a player, you exile the top 7 cards of that player's library. And then you put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield under your control. So probably a big creature you want to put on. Umbra Stalker for 4 generic and triple black. Is an elemental whose power and toughness are each equal to the number of black mana symbols in the mana cost of cards in your graveyard. So this is chroma. Kind of like Devotion, except it wasn't limited to being on the battlefield at the time. The Desecration Demon, for 2 generic and double black, it's a demon with flying 6/6. At the beginning of each combat, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap Desecration Demon and put a +++ count on it. So, you know, the deal. This is probably going to be getting bigger and bigger. And just keep on entering in. Well, keep on getting bigger, you know, lulling your opponent's support state is what I'm trying to say. And eventually you sacrifice this and, oh, there's a zombie army. Kalatos, Blood Chief of Get, for 5 generic and double black. It's a legendary vampire zombie, or he is, I believe. 5/5, triple black. You can tap him to destroy target creature. Then, if that creature is put into a graveyard from this way, excuse me, if that creature is put into a graveyard this way, put a black vampire creature token onto the battlefield whose power is equal to that creature's power and its toughness is equal to that creature's toughness. Sorry. Excuse me. God Eternal Bondtooth for 3 generic and double black. It's a legendary zombie god with menace 5/6. And when it enters the battlefield, you sacrifice any number of opponents to it to draw that many cards. And then when it dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. I cannot speak. Scroll Primordial for 5 generic and double black, excuse me, intimidates 5/4. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, you may put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Demon Lord of Ashmouth for 2 generic and double black. It's a demon with flying 5/4. Undying. So when this creature dies, if it had no ++ counters on it, you bring it back with a ++ count on it. And then when it enters the battlefield, exile it unless you sacrifice another creature. Soulless One for 3 generic and a black. It's a zombie avatar whose power and toughness are each equal to the number of zombies in play plus the number of zombie cards in all graveyards. So this could be a pretty big boy that you could end up sacrificing and then putting a lot of zombies onto the battlefield because of it. Thorgar Famine Incarnate for 6 generic and double black. It's a legendary avatar, 7/6. And as an additional cost to cast it, you sacrifice any number of creatures, and then the cost you pay to cast it is reduced by 2 generic for each creature sacrificed that way. So you sacrifice 3 creatures, then suddenly this is only double black. I think that's all you have to pay. But when it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player's life total becomes half their starting life total, rounded down. And then you just sacrifice this to your commander and create 7 2/2s. That can still put someone in big trouble. Runescar Demon for 5 generic and double black. It's a demon with flying. 6/6. I was about to say 7/6. 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Cdc Undead Vizier for 3 generic and double black. He is a legendary zombie naga. Death Touch and exploit, meaning that when this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. 4/6. And when it exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Now we have like cards. Now we have like creature cards or like cards that just like give us value for playing the way we play. So first we have Gavany Unhallowed for 3 generic and a black. It's a zombie. 2/4 that states whenever another creature you control dies, put a ++ count on Gavany Unhallowed. Carrion Feeder for singular black. It's a zombie that cannot block. It's a 1/1 and you can sacrifice the creatures to it to put a ++ count on it. Butcher Malakir for 5 generic and double black. It's a vampire warrior, flying, 5/4. And when it or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Cemetery Reaper for 1 generic and double black. It's a zombie that gives other zombies you control +1/+1. 2/2. 2 generic and black. You can tap it to exile target creature card from your graveyard to put a 2/2 black summon creature token onto the battlefield. Zephyr Demon for 3 generic control black. It's a demon with flying and trample. 7/7. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature other than Zephyr Demon. Then each opponent loses life equal to the sacrifice creature's power. If you can't, sacrifice a creature, tap Zephyr Demon, and then you lose 7 life. Sheoldred, Whispering One for 5 generic and double black. She is a legendary predator with Swamp Walk, meaning that if the defending player controls Swamp, then this creature cannot be blocked. If it attacks, of course. 6/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Brave Strength for 1 generic and black. It's a sorcery that has you choose target creature and then mills you for 3. And then you put a pulse count on that creature for each creature card in your graveyard, currently in your graveyard. Liliana of the Last Hope. The Last Hope, excuse me. 1 generic and double black for a planeswalker, Liliana. She comes in with 3 loyalty, and then you can +1 her to give up to 1 target creature -2, -1 until your next turn. -2, mill 2, and then you may return target creature. You may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. -7, you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step. Put X 2/2 blacks on your creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is 2 plus the number of zombies you control. Excuse me. Corrosive Mentor. For 2 generic and black, it's an elemental rogue. 1/3. And it gives black withers you control wither, meaning that they deal damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. Dictate of Erebos for 3 generic and double black. It's an enchantment with flash, meaning it can be played at any time, as long as you have the mana to do so. And whenever a creature you control dies, each one sacrifices a creature. Ayara, First of Locthwain. Triple black for a legendary elf noble. When she or another black creature enters battlefield under your control, each one loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Excuse me. 2/3. You can tap her and sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. Obnixus Unshackled for 4 generic and double black. It's a legendary demon, flying with flying trample, 4/4. Whenever an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacrifices a creature and loses 10 life. And whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+ count on Obnixus Unshackled. Whisper, Blood Liturgist, I think. 3 generic and black for legendary human cleric. You can tap him or her, I don't know, I don't care. Sacrifice 2 creatures to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. 2/2. Paragon of Open Graves for 3 generic and black. It's a skeleton warrior, 2/2, that gives other black creatures you control +1/+1. And for 2 generic and black, you can tap it to give another black creature you control until in turn Death Touch. Reaper from the Abyss for 3 generic and triple black. It's a demon with flying, 6/6, morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if your creature died this turn, destroy target non-beaming creature. Shadow Alley Denizen for a singular black. It's a vampire rogue, 1/1, that gives a creature you control, that gives target creature intimidate until in turn whenever another black creature enters battlefield under your control. Fallen Ideal for 2 generic and black. It's an aura. It's an enchantment aura, excuse me. Enchantment creature has flying, and sacrifice a creature. This creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. And when this aura is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. Frankenwrath Noble for 3 generic and black. It's a vampire with flying, 2/2. And whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Pawn of Ulamog for 1 generic and double black. It's a vampire shaman. And whenever it or another non-token creature you control dies, put a 01 colors Eldrazi spawn creature token onto the battlefield. It has sacrifice this creature, add one colors mana to your mana pool. Excuse me. Razaketh the Foul Blooded for 5 generic triple black. He is a legendary demon, excuse me. With flying and triple 8/8, you may pay 2 life to him and sacrifice another creature to him to search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. Onto the Glorified for 2 generic and a black. He is a legendary god with menace indestructible, 4/6, and he can't attack or block unless a creature died under your control this turn. 1 generic and black, sacrifice another creature to describe 1, and then each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Champion of Strength Souls for 4 generic and double black. It's a skeleton warrior with 4/4. Then for 3 generic and double black, you may tap it to sacrifice X other creatures and return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield as a result. Then for 5 generic and double black, you can put this creature card on top of your library from your graveyard. Liliana's Mastery. For 3 generic and double black, it's an enchantment that gives zombies control +1/+1. It puts 2/2 black zombie creature tokens on the battlefield when it enters the battlefield. Extractor Demon. For 4 generic and double black, it's a demon with flying 5/5, and it mills player for 2 cards whenever another creature leaves the battlefield. And you may do that. It's a main ability. Unearth of 2 generic and a black, meaning that if you pay that cost, you return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. You exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield, unearth only as a sorcery. Blood Artist for 1 generic and a black. It's a vampire that when it or another creature dies, the player loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. 01. Halatas, Trader of Get for 2 generic and a black, and double black, excuse me. Legendary Vampire Warrior. Lifelink 3/4. If a non-token creature on opponent controls would die, instead of exile that card and put a 2/2 blood zombie creature token onto the battlefield. For 2 generic and black, you can sacrifice another creature or zombie to put 2 plus cards on Kalatos, Trader of Debt. Then we have Mortuary Mire. I don't know. It enters the battlefield attack, and when it enters the battlefield, you may put target creature card from your graveyard onto your library, and it taps for a black. Bullrush Stronghold, taps for colors, legendary land. 1 generic and a black, it can put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library if you also tap it. Witch's Cottage, it's land, swamp, and when it enters the battlefield, if it enters in untapped, which for it to enter in untapped, you have to control 3 or more other swamps. And when it enters in untapped, excuse me, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Cabal Coffers. For 2 generic, you can tap it and add a black mana to your mana pool for each swamp you control to land. Everglades enters the battlefield, tapped, and when it does, you return and you have to return an untapped swamp you control to its owner's hand, or else you sacrifice it, and then it taps for 1 generic and black. Isolated Watchtower. It's a land that can tap for colors. Up to 2 generic, you can tap to have describe 1, and then you may reveal the top card of your library. If a basic land card is revealed this way, put it onto the battlefield tab. Activate this only if an opponent controls at least 2 more lands than you. And there will probably be a green player at the table, so you know the deal. Memorial to Folly. It's a land that enters battlefield tap, can tap for a black, or for 2 generic and black, it can tap and sacrifice the field to the return target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Myriad Landscape is a land that enters battlefield tap, taps for colors, for 2 generic and taps to sacrifice itself to allow you to search for 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. High Market, it's a land that can tap for colors, or it can tap and you sacrifice a creature to it to allow you to gain 1 life. Phyrexian Tower, it's a legendary land that you can tap for colors, or you can tap it and sacrifice a creature to it to add double black. Cabal Stronghold, it's a land that you can tap for colors, or for 3 generic, you can tap it and add a black for each basic swamp, you control. Dark Depths, Legendary Snowland enters the battlefield with 10 ice counters on it. For 3 generic, you remove an ice counter from it, and when it has no ice counters on it, you sacrifice it, and then as a result, if you do, put an indestructible legendary 2020, excuse me, 2020 black avatar creature token with flying named Merit Liege into play. And then you've got all of your other swamps since you're playing mono black. And with that, the end of this commander guide starring dual color Gisa. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Well, you know the deal. First one to comment is the person who gets to choose like what the next commander is for the next episode, whether it's legit or custom, as long as I can find it. Please hit the notification bell that way you don't miss any of my other videos. Please leave comments in general. Please leave likes. And also, we're only at 15 subscribers, guys. Come on, 5 away. And then we have 20 sub special. There we go. What else? Oh, share this video along with other videos you may or may not have seen with other people. Go watch my other videos. And I think that is it. Bye.